Hey everybody, Ryan here at Etrailer. Today on our 2020 Acura MDX, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver. Many MDX owners use their SUVs to do a little bit of everything, and so you're going to want a hitch that is up to the task. So whether you plan on doing some towing or primarily using accessories, or maybe even both, this one's going to get the job done. And one of the big questions that we get asked is if the hitch is going to interfere at all with your spare tire. And as you can see, the spare tire goes right back into place as it should without any issues. And if it were me, I would want a hitch that really wouldn't affect my Acura's appearance. And honestly, I really don't think this one does all that much. It is visible, but there's not going to be a ton of hitch exposed. Really, the only thing you're going to be able to see is the receiver tube opening here. And it does have a nice gloss black finish, which does give it a finished appearance. One thing I really do like is where the hitch is going to sit. It's kind of in that perfect spot in my opinion. It's going to be back far enough to where it still looks good, but out far enough, just about flush with our back bumper, that it's going to give us some good clearance. So what I mean by that is if you plan on using any folding accessories, you shouldn't have to worry too much about them making contact with your bumper whenever they're in that upright position. So this is a Class 3 hitch. So it's going to give us that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening. That is a very common size, and a ton of different accessories will work with it. This is going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength and that standard 5/8 size pinhole. Now keep in mind, a pin and clip does not come included with the hitch, but if you need one, you can pick it up here at Etrailer. We have loop style safety chain openings, which aren't extremely large, but they should give us more than enough room to use just about any size hook that we might have. Now the hitch's weight capacities are going to be pretty impressive. As far as the maximum gross tongue weight rating goes, it's going to be 900 pounds, and that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. That's a pretty high number. You should be able to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you would want to. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 6,000 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight that's pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now this can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component that connects to your trailer and help keep everything leveled out when you're going down the road. But if you do use that, the maximum gross trailer weight rating increases to 8,000 pounds. However, the maximum gross tongue weight rating does remain the same at 900. Now I do always suggest, never a bad idea, just to grab your MDX's owner's manual to make sure your Acura can pull that much weight safely. And if you do plan on doing some towing, I would recommend picking up some trailer wiring. That way the lights on your trailer will sync up with the lights on the back of your Acura and you'll be safe and legal. Now let's go ahead and take a couple of measurements. That way we can figure out which hitch mounted accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be right at 14 inches. So if you do plan on doing some towing, chances are really good you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. And if you need one, I prefer the Etrailer.com ball mount kit. It'll work out real well with this hitch. As far as the clearance goes, if you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, and that's going to be right at 3 inches. And you're going to use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without contacting your bumper. So honestly, at the end of the day, a hitch you really can't go wrong with. It kind of checks all those boxes. So whether you want to do some towing or haul around some accessories, it's going to get the job done. Now as far as the installation goes, it's actually pretty simple. There's really not a whole lot involved. It's actually one of the easier hitches to put on, believe it or not. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do that together now. To begin our install, we're going to be here at the back of our MDX, and we're going to need to lower our spare tire. So the way to do that is inside of the hatch here. So if we open that up, lift up on our carpeting, as well as our little storage tray, we're going to see a plug right here. So you can just grab that plug, pop it out. We're going to have a little square fitting. Your spare tire tools are all right here. So we'll take the tool, pop it on there, and lower that tire down. Now eventually, once we get the hitch on, the tire will go back up, so you don't have to worry about keeping this stored or anything like that. We're just setting it off to the side for now. I like to go ahead and point out our attachment points here underneath our Acura. Now they're going to be the same on both sides, and anything we do to this side, we're also going to repeat on the other because they're set up the same way. So we're going to have 3 factory well nuts on the bottom of our frame rail. One here, and one here. Now I do suggest spraying these out with some penetrating oil, just using a brush to clean out the threads of any debris that may be lodged inside. Now we can kind of go over our hardware that we're going to use to secure the hitch, and it's all going to be the same. So we're just going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. Make sure that the teeth on the washer are going to face up. So what we're going to do is put our hitch in place, line up the holes in it with our attachment points, and use the bolts to simply just secure that hitch. Now with an extra set of hands, we can take our hitch and raise it into position. So you're going to want to kind of slide it in at the same time if you can. Sometimes it kind of gets hung up on these little exhaust hangers. So you have to kind of work it in there. But once we have it in place, our holes line up, we can take our hardware. We want to get at least one started hand tied on each side. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the bolts. So now that we have all of our hardware in place and hand tight, we can come back with a 22mm socket and snug everything down. And don't forget to grab a torque wrench and tighten all the hardware down to the amount specified in your instructions. Now that we have our hitch up and secure, we can go ahead and raise our spare tire back into position. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2020 Acura MDX.